Hi, I'm Danny, and today I will be doing the opposites book tag. I was tagged by Kat over at Little Book Owl, so let's get into this tag. My oldest book versus my newest book. And I'm going to go with Sex and the Single Vampire by Kate McAllister. This is my oldest book that I own, and I think will stay on my shelf forever. And for my newest book, I would have to go with Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. At this point, I'm currently reading it. By the time this video goes up, I probably have finished it, but it is awesome so far. It is everything I hoped and a whole bunch of things I never thought I wanted. A cheap book versus an expensive book. For my cheap book, I would have to go with Nobody's Prize, and I cannot pronounce this author's name, so I'm not even going to try, but I got this on Book Outlet for 79 cents. For my expensive book, I would have to go with City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, my most expensive book that I've bought to this date. It was $20 at Target. It was definitely worth it, and it is a beast of a book. I think this is like 700 some pages. Yes, just a little over 700 pages, and it is a beast of a book, although it doesn't seem like it took that long to read. A male protagonist versus a female protagonist. For my male protagonist, I think this is the only series that I can think of that it is actually told the whole story from a male point of view, and I would have to go with The Beautiful Creature series by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I would just take one book out, but it's so hard to get these out because it's like so tight in there, and it's just as hard to get it in, so I'm just gonna hold up the whole box set. For my female point of view, I'm gonna go with Shay from the Nymph King by Gina Showalter. A fast read versus my longest read. For my fast read, I'm gonna go with Even Vampires Get the Blues by Kate McAllister. This book, I woke up one morning, I started reading it, and before the day was over, I was done with it. I literally flew through these pages. This is the fastest book I've read up to this date. For my longest read, this book I technically still have not finished. I think I started reading it like 2 months ago, and there's only like 100 pages left, and I just can't seem to work my way through those 100 pages. That is Nobody's Princess, and again, I cannot pronounce this author's name, and I will link all books below so you can check it out if you want. A pretty cover versus an ugly cover. For my pretty cover, I would have to go with Air Fire by Sarah J. Maas. All the covers in this series are pretty, although up to Queen of Shadows has to be my favorite cover, but up to this point in the book, this one was my favorite cover, and so since I'm trying not to repeat, I'm gonna name this book. Now this cover isn't ugly per se, but it is definitely my least favorite of the books that I own currently. Wings by Apolline Pipe. I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible with names. A thin book versus a thick book. For my thin book, I have to go with The Vampire's Just Not Into You by Vlad Mesrick. This was actually a gag gift from a friend of mine for my birthday a few years ago, and it is I think it is my thinnest book. It is just a little over 100 pages. I pretty much have named all my thick books for previous questions, so this one is going to be a double, and for my thick book, I'm going to go with Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This book is over 600 pages, 648 pages. So yeah, this is smaller than City of Heavenly Fire, but it is still a thick book. This is like 2 books on its own. A fiction versus a non-fiction. I have plenty of fiction books, but I have no non-fiction. So for fiction, we're just gonna randomly grab one book. And I got Trial by Fire by Josephine Angeli for my fiction. Romance versus action. For my romance, I am going to choose one of the few contemporaries that I own and go with Landline by Rainbow Rowell. This book will also be a redo because all of my books have romance in them in some way. It may not be a huge way, but this is, I have to say, is the one book where the romance is the very least, and that is Air Fire by Sarah J. Maas. All the books before this and after this have their romance in it, but this one has like zero lack of romance, at least for the main character. For one of the others, like the second main characters, there's a little bit of romance, but this book throughout the entire series has the least amount of romance so far. For my happy book, I'm gonna have to go with The Secret Diamond Sisters by Michelle Maddow. These girls, while this book does have its certain sad points, it's mostly happy because the girls are getting to know their new life and experiencing all these things that they never were able to before, especially now having unlimited amounts of money at their fingertips. And so they are definitely happy for a good chunk of this book, but there are the little sad points. They're not too sad, but they're a little sad. And for my sad book, I'm going to have to go with New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. If you've read this book, you know why it's sad. Well, that is my opposites book tag. I'm going to tag Book and Cookies, Joe at Tiny Teacups, the Wooky, and I may tag a few more people, but I can't think of them right now. And I will link the people I tagged below. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!